I think we got it.
Yeah.
What do you think? Are we missing anything? He comes in is to do the criminal activity of falsely assuming the identity of a dead man and selling his car.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, and he's planning this whole. You can do this whole bit where he's like really overplaying, and like everyone he sees, he's just like, thinking about moving to the city. You can't afford it, like jerk off or whatever. Like not realizing who he's talking to.
Yeah, like really degrading to him. He's like, looks at his shoes. Sperry's? You couldn't afford this.
Can I say one more thing off the record? Don't put this in the recording. Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
It's too late. This is in the recording.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Content Factory, the show where it gets made. I am Carson DeAngelis.
I'm Zave Davey. I'm
elaborate storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't talk about this. We were gonna do nicknames.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you
We're doing nicknames?
Yeah, I'm Carson, elaborate storyteller. You need one. Like a title.
Like a title?
Yeah.
Wait, yours is elaborate storyteller? Like
yeah,
it's like a Rocket League title?
Yeah, I don't know. Is that Rocket League? Sure, I don't play a lot of Rocket League. I'm just an elaborate storyteller.
Zave Davey, Wavy Baby.
Wavy Baby. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Can I ask you about it?
Yeah, what's up?
Why wavy?
Well, I'm not just gonna be standing still.
Very, very wavy guy.
Yeah.
But you called yourself a baby.
Yeah, you know, chilling, grilling,
being a baby, baby things.
Yeah, baby things.
Babies have it very easy.
Yeah.
Always chilling.
Yeah. Getting fed multiple different kinds of food for free all day. They get head
don't
kisses.
have any jobs. Everything is free for. Where's the policy saying babies should be pulling their weight?
Being a wavy baby. You know how it is.
I don't see anybody targeting babies in the news or politics. I don't see anybody going after them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you heard what happened to the boss baby?
Yeah, I heard he got a bunch of government bailouts. Another CEO bailed out by the government. The boss baby dips his hand into the U.S. Treasury just like everyone else.
His tiny, soft,
slimy, greedy baby fingers.
Just like it was Play-Doh. Alright.
Would that be a great sketch though? Like the boss baby going dark like that? I've never seen the boss baby, but I assume he stays like good mostly. But like one where he like he's like
the boss baby finally reveals the ultimate plan.
Well, not even, but it's like not like the ultimate plan, but it's just like he starts signing to like do something questionable in like the third world, and he's like no, I'm just running a business here, like I'm just gotta mind my profits, and like everyone's like, no, boss baby, like you didn't used to be this way, and he's like,
he starts running a scam call center in like a third world country. He's like, I mean, how else am I supposed to target my citizens?
It's like the Nestle thing, like where they hold that village's hostage water, you know what I meant. There's I don't know how it worked. There's a whole thing with Nestle, yeah. There's like, the people have to work for Nestle or they don't get their water or something.
I don't support that chocolate. In this household, we eat Feastables.
On this podcast, yeah.
Yeah, on this podcast, we eat whether or not they sponsor us. True shit.
Just ethical.
Yeah, just ethically.
We assume, you know what?
It's sourced.
Okay, good, because I said that kind of quickly, and I didn't know.
No, I know. I've done the research.
Okay, good. So
I've looked into it.
That's yeah, so we've both done the research.
Yep. Your boy, Jimmy D.
I have not.
He went and actually studied. He got these specifically imported from like a plant. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, and it's not sourced from people whose water is being held hostage by an evil baby.
Exactly.
Like, why would you support that?
I'm not going to support the boss baby. Not in my community. Not in my household.
So we should start the show. This is a show where we make content.
Yeah. This is a show where we make content.
We're not quite sure what we're making always, but
we're making all sorts of things.
Yeah, we gotta get to an idea. And then...
All right. So today I'm thinking because last time we developed one longer thing. I feel like this time we should do a couple of shorter things, right?
Tighten it up. Let's do a different change of pace.
Yeah. So let's say, hypothetically, our backbone for today is we want to do a sketch variety show. So we're
okay, I like that. So we can be like, it's all contained in one.
Yeah, we can have jokes that apply from different sketches, but can build up through one connecting arching thing. Imagine, I guess the largest structure like that is probably your SNL, but instead of it being like each individual bit is a whole separate thing, it could still be separate things, but I don't know, more intertwined.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta
conceptually.
Yeah, okay. I think what you said originally, like, I like them being different.
Yeah.
Not all like, I don't want it to be like just like a series or whatever. Like, I like them being different sketches, but with like the same joke connecting some of them, or like you're saying, or
even just like
they do
tonality.
like a character that like leaves one sketch, like you see him enter another sketch somehow, like I don't know, like someone gets chased off by the police and then like you see him, you know what I mean? Like,
that would be a really interesting way to build a variety sketch show.
Where you make sure everything's woven together like that a little bit?
Well, not just like that, but let's say on a multi-episode level, because right now we're only going to build one episode, but on a multi-episode level, if that were to exist, you have the same cast of characters, let's say 4 or 5 people. In this single episode, you could have a sketch around 1 or 2 people and have the end of the sketch be one person leaves off and is like, I got to go to work, or I have to go to the library and do my homework, or this or that reason. And then the next sketch follows that one person into the next area where they're doing a whole thing until eventually one of the people from the same cast, the main cast, like for the most part they're interacting with your regular thespians, just actors. Yeah. But once one other person from the same cast comes in, end of scene, like either mid-scene, end of scene, whatever, you would then follow them.
So they're all sketches, so it's like you kind of get away with like, because I feel like if you tried to do that really like dramatically, it would be tough to get people to follow along with it.
You wouldn't want to do it drama. It would have to be like comedy. Like
and as sketches, you can kind of get away with that because it's like, I'm not really here for the plot, but I'm picking it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I'm watching it.
I'm watching the sketches.
I'm watching
so the plot
it
can
play
come
out.
in slowly, and I don't need to be pulled by like dramatic tension necessarily. Except that would exist in the sketch. That's a really good idea.
Plus, you can build.
Is that what? Let's do that today. That's a rule then. Like character B has to be character A in the next sketch for whatever we do.
Well, that's what I'm saying is cool. Like connecting for that,
and you can always like go full circle and have like the first person be that, like the first person in the first sketch is in the last one.
That too. Plus, I'm thinking like. I don't know, they probably already do this in like other shows just from like decades ago.
Yeah.
But you have one set of characters essentially at the same point in time having, their whole scene at the cafe while simultaneously another set of characters are having their whole scene at the laundromat, right? You could have the first scene be at the cafe, scene 2, laundromat, scene 3, both of those people are now, back at the apartment and talking about each of their perspective things. I don't know, I'm just thinking about the idea of like intertwining them in that way too, where like something can happen simultaneously that has a causation that leads them both to go do something like afterward.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm explaining that.
No, I got it. I'm just thinking of like I don't know if we're gonna get that far today.
No. I know. I
think we should. That'll if it happens, if that shows up, that's good. Let's
crazy.
Not make that a rule.
I don't want to try to do that. I think
we should try to like.
I'm just like talking out of my mind right now.
Okay. Of course. Yeah. But each sketch we know is gonna be basically more or less 2 characters.
Yeah.
You have an A, a B, maybe a C, but like always like character B or C is character A in the next sketch. Like you always got to cycle one into the next one at least.
Yeah.
Where do we start though? right? I mean, is this a good... Do we need to know anything else about... I feel like we're ready for the first sketch. Like, I don't know. I feel like we need to get into it.
Just start at sketch one?
I think we're ready.
Do you want to look at any of these visual prompts?
Yeah, I don't want to do anything off the top of our head, so to speak. I want it to all be, like, new and external. Let's... Yeah. For those of you listening at home, this part of the show will eventually be replaced with your suggestions.
Yes.
Go to content.gives if you want to view the submission form. Submit an idea. It can be an idea for a movie. We're doing a sketch show this episode, of course.
Yeah.
Any kind of content. You know, we'll take video game
any
ideas,
kind
whatever.
of media.
Any media.
Any media.
If you have an idea and just to have that and don't want to do the rest and don't think that's something you're gonna do, just maybe we'll get an episode out of it.
Hey, hear me out. It's not just that you don't want to do the rest, it's that you have difficulty building the rest. Because I don't want to just take your idea and be like, hey, we stole your idea. Like,
we promise not to copyright your idea.
No, whatever you submit will be 100% credited to you as the original creator, as the original conceptual creator, and if anything does get made from your idea in the future, you will receive royalties. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I've talked to the higher-ups at Leaving Someday, and I've guaranteed that beforehand.
Oh, those bean counters. Oh, those guys.
Yeah.
The bean counters.
Dudes who are always pushing all those buttons. I'm just glad that we got the domain. So, instead of a giant Google form link, if you would like to submit your idea, you can go to any web browser, whether that's Safari, Firefox, Google Chrome, and type in content.gives. And right there, you can submit your idea. Eventually, we will be reading those ideas. But until then, we've got the power of Reddit.
And one last thing on the submission form is we'll take a single word. We'll take, if you just want to do blank : the movie, that's fine. Mm-hmm. If you have a couple of paragraphs, that's great also. However developed it is, it's ready for the factory.
Imagine this submission box to be it'd be really cool if I could just tell somebody to make this movie or show or game, and I look back in a couple of weeks and suddenly it's developed. They take a sentence or paragraph idea and I came back and now it's the thing.
And again, a lot of these will be we're not promising we won't just make a bunch of fart jokes out of your idea.
Could happen.
It will happen to some of you. But sky's the limit.
Yeah. it's worth throwing the hat in the ring, You never know what'll happen. So yeah, I mean that's
yeah. We'll be using those, but in the meantime, we are using the power of the internet.
Yeah.
There's lots of suggestions out there. They just weren't submitted directly to us. But they're these are public domain. We're gonna grab some of them.
I'm just looking at a bunch of picture prompts here.
Well, there's a really good one I like.
Of the day. Which one? Which one are you looking at? This one?
Yeah, I like that one. So I'm looking at a picture right now. It's a cartoon drawing. It's pretty retro. Mm-hmm. It looks like a bunch of different alien type people, different kinds of creatures, all waiting in line at the doctor. They're all gonna do the it's the eye chart, where you cover one eye and read it from down the hall. Mm-hmm. And there's all different kinds of people. There's people with one eye. There's people with I see a person with an eye stalk coming out of the top, aliens and stuff. And the person that's gonna go next is this big blob person with a million eyes all over them. And everyone's just there's this huge line backed up behind them, and everyone's bummed out that they're waiting for this dude to do the eye test a million times. And I really love this.
Number 3 is waiting.
There's a huge line of people waiting to do to cover one eye and do the thing. This guy's got to do it for all of his eyes.
That's good. So I like the sandals.
I like that he's casual. You can tell he's got a personality.
Mm-hmm. He's just a dude.
This is some Rick and Morty type society, though, is what it looks like.
For sure, it looks very blob-esque. I don't know, definitely the E dimension. I would say for sure the E dimension.
Yeah.
All of the letters here.
All the letters are E, by the way. We didn't see different direction.
Yeah, it's just D in different. It's just E in different directions.
So I guess some of them are M and some of them are W and some of them are backwards E and the rest are regular E. You got 4 letters.
You've got E's.
It's like when Elf, when he's talking about your 4 main fruits, like they're all candy.
No, I did that wrong. What? Orth, Alf, Easts,
You can do
and
all
Est.
E's. But see, you could do. No, we're getting. This is crazy. We gotta do. Let's look at some more pictures.
Yeah.
I like this one. I don't want to just jump on the first thing we see though.
Oh, that's a good photo.
But a lot of these look serious, and that one at least was funny.
Yeah, it was goofy. A lot of these look very. Yeah. You know what? You know what else we could also do?
What's that?
We could try to AI generate some images. That's possible.
AI generate some images?
Yeah, images. Like,
how does this work?
Here, let me see if this is available.
Okay. So let's get into like what's a good start for a sketch? So, like,
All right,
come up with like a situation that would be uncomfortable, and then like describe that. I feel like
DMV.
I feel
DMV.
like okay. So like. What's awkward at the like? Let's describe a sketch to the. That's what I think we should do.
That's what I'm saying.
So like, what's the twist on the like? Right, like every sketch is like a normal situation with a twist. Like you're at the DMV, but it's weird this time because like,
Character is there. The Hamburglar is there, and he won't take off all of his bullshit and reveal his identity.
Someone's trying to get a driver's license without revealing who they are because they're like, they didn't realize, like they didn't think it through, but they're like, it's like literally a cartoon robber.
Yeah,
like, he's like, I gotta take off my like, I got a ski mask. He's like, I gotta take this. He's like, I have to go to the bathroom. Like, okay, try cartoon robber. Goes to cartoon robber renews his driver's license.
Cartoon robber renews driver's license at busy Department of Motor Vehicles. Generate image.
Can I say one more thing off the record? Don't put this in the recording. Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
It's too late. This is in the recording.
Oh God! Oh no! Wait, this image is horrible.
This is not a cartoon robber at all.
Please put like a trigger warning before this shows up because this is. Why is there a hand like holding his eye open? Like this is so bad. Okay, so these AI artists kind of have a leg to stand on. This
guy's not real, dude.
He's a generated dude.
This is like the closest to what we're looking for, but this is not it. This is just a colored person at the DMV.
He's just holding some documents like standing in line.
We have a bunch of images.
We do have a bunch of images.
What if we just take the images that we have here and we have to create a story with them?
Okay, that sounds tough, but we got a factory, a DMV, there's snowy cabins. I think we could totally do this.
I mean, I'm down to do one more if you want to get, like, just one last one to really...
Just to make sure there's 4?
Yeah,
well, hang on,
tie everything in.
This is why I brought a lap desk and a notebook.
You brought a
to
lap
this
desk
episode.
and a notebook.
I want to write down the 4 kind of ideas. It was a snow cabin.
He's got a pen.
A factory.
He's writing.
We had the weird, scary DMV.
DMV is real.
And we're gonna have one 4th thing, and this is gonna be like the formula. We're gonna put this all together to make. We're going to make the actual content.
What are we thinking here?
I'm thinking like argument in the workplace. So I think a lot of them were like a character and like a subject and a verb was kind of the formula with a lot of these. So let's say like businessmen argue in a sad office. Like
how do you a bowling alley? I want them
bowling alley. Yes. Yeah, it's in public. It's outside of the workplace. You're right.
I feel like the DMV feels corporate enough to embody the workplace. These businessmen should be arguing, like in a fun area.
So a bowling alley.
Yeah. Those are businessmen arguing in a bowling.
This is very good. We got the first good image.
Tell me.
Let's say that we need at least 4 sketches because we have 4 like areas now.
Okay. I'm hearing you.
And maybe the bowling alley fight, that seems like a climax to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That seems like a climax.
That's where all
Let's
the
make
characters
that
come
either
together.
3 or 4. Yeah.
Yeah. You're kind of getting the like GTA 5 effect, where you're getting a little piece of each individual character, and then you get one episode with all 3 of them where you start interchanging as them. You know?
Yeah. Okay, I like this.
Yeah.
So
You can use game dev concepts to explain narrative, because at the end of the day, it's still story.
Yeah, we'll do a game. We'll do a game.
We gotta do a game soon.
We gotta do a game next.
Yeah. Come back next week where we do a game. Are we gonna? Did I just cement that?
I almost did, and I stopped myself. But now you said it, and we're gonna do a game next week.
Yeah, we're gonna do a game next week.
So hopefully, honestly,
hopefully there's a next week.
Yeah, hopefully there's a next week. Hopefully nothing happens. We need to get some normal situations and twists or something. I don't know. Like, that's my way of coming up with sketch ideas. All I wrote down is cabin, factory, DMV, bowling alley fight. So that's what we're working based off of.
What's the first one?
Cabin.
Cabin? Alright. Cast of characters in cabin.
I mean, like a family on a vacation. Like, not even like a... Because, it's one thing to do, like the family at, like, the resort or at Disney or whatever. But then the archetypes of that are different than the archetypes of the family in the cabin. You don't have your vacation dad. You have your camping dad. Like, it's not an exhausting, he's like... The dad is usually I think it's the opposite, right? Like, this is where your vacation dad is happiest, like, because he doesn't have to do anything. But everyone else is like, why are we on a shitty vacation in a cabin? So... Yeah. Maybe that's, like... I don't know. That's something. What were you thinking? It could be... It doesn't have to be a family, even. Like, that was kind of a jump.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily thinking of family, but I do like the idea of a cast of friends, where this could be not like the show Friends, but like if we are already going based off the idea at one of these characters is going to be at the final bowling sketch at the end, let's say the 3 people at the end, they are already a group of friends, but on their own, or maybe they're in a bowling league together, right? But on their own separately, they still have separate people they see. They've got different jobs, different canine shafts and gazelle shafts, as they say.
Yeah, of course. Everyone says that.
Yeah. But this could just be like, one of those people being with a group of maybe outdoorsy people, and they're not outdoorsy, or vice versa. Well, honestly, I kind of like that one more than the other way, because then you can have that character go back to the bowling alley group and be like, man, like, I don't know, my rock climbing friends decided that they wanted to go hiking and, like, stay out in a cabin, and I was like, sure, but I didn't realize that we were going to be hiking, like, 7 miles into the wilderness and cooking food that we caught that night on the fire that we had to start that wouldn't start because it was raining for the first 3 hours. Like, something like that, where it's like, that is the sketch. That is the sketch. And then, literally just as a line of dialogue to the other people in a later sketch, they're describing what happened. I mean, like, yeah. Shit was nuts.
Yeah,
and then the other person bounces off me like, you won't believe this. Like, it doesn't essentially have to be a recap like that, but I don't know, I'm interested in that as a way to drive the story. Right, like, that's a real human thing. You go to a party or you go to work, people talk about stories from previously.
Right, yeah.
You come home, you talk about stories from what happened at work.
Instead of making up some new, like, baloney, they're talking about, like, the past part of the episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so a group of friends in the cabin, and one of them is not really into it. I still feel like I feel like we're missing something, because that's, like, kind of a normal situation. I think We're missing like the stakes though.
Yeah, there's got to be more.
Like, are they trying to
twists.
pretend that they're an outdoorsy person, and like the sketch is like the jokes are them like faking it? Like, where's the comedy? Like, what are they trying to hide, or like what's the stakes here?
Yeah,
I need like.
Yeah, I guess the concept of like biting off more than you can chew, like.
Yeah, that's definitely like the vibe I'm getting about it.
Yeah, but also, how do you? Okay. What if it's like they go in being like, yeah, I've done hiking before. Like I'm outdoorsy enough. I'll go with you guys, not realizing that these are like 10 out of 10 intensity people, or in terms of what they consider their woods personality. They go and join the quest. Halfway through, they're like, I'm tapping out, dude. I can't do this. Like, guys, this is too much. Like, I can't. They're too far at that point. It's either, okay, well, in order to get back, you need to go down the even more difficult, steep route by yourself, or just stick it out with us and, like, cross the entire way.
Okay. So, like, let me get this some kind of a structure.
Okay.
We don't have to stick with this, but like we're setting up with like he's talking the big talk. Basically, other people are like, you know, whatever. Like, is this guy really like? Does he even know who he's dealing with?
Yeah.
And then like they're going out, and you're like, inciting incident is that where he's like gives up, and they say you can't give up. Like we're more than halfway to the cat. Like your best shot is to come with us, and he's like, I can't stay in the woods. Like I don't feel like doing this anymore. So your like rising action. I think is he's like I'm just picturing like that character just keeps faking injuries like, to try to get them to like call a paramedic helicopter or something. They keep faking injuries. And then somehow I don't know. I guess the climax is like they actually get injured or something, and that's like a boy who cried wolf. I don't know. It's not where I realized I was going, but like, like, do we want to start the episode off with like an actual death, and then like
how are they gonna get back to bowling?
No, it's somebody like remember this is character A. So it's like one of the survivors of those. You know what I mean? Like a traumatized person now gets to bowl it later. Like,
okay.
That could be part of that sketch too.
That is kind of
like,
funny. That is kind of funny.
It's like this one guy. No one realizes that the one player is just broken, and they're all trying to like josh him. And
yeah. He's now seen some. And everyone
like,
else is like
earlier that week though. Like hasn't.
Okay, so no, like, hey, how was the hiking trip, Jeremy? And he was just like, it was okay. It was fine. I'm home. I got to see my cats. You know, made chicken Alfredo. How much better can it be?
No, he just keeps saying like he's like, you know, I can just eat a microwave dinner last night. Had a microwave breakfast. Like, and they're just like, what's wrong with it? Like, they don't realize like, and that's called dramatic irony. That's some good stuff.
I got a World of Warcraft subscription and some shades that block out the lights in my room.
Started reading this book called Don't Jump. Oh wait, I mean Rich Dad Poor Dad.
It's so bad.
Okay, so I'm writing down a little bit. I'm writing down basically what you said, right? Okay. Or if we're sticking with this for the cabin one.
Okay.
So they're bragging as they start the hike, like realize they're in over their heads, but they can't quit. So they start faking injuries to try and get them to like call a helicopter or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like they don't want to walk back and I don't want to walk to the cabin. He's like, I'm just gonna. Oh, my leg! Like I need to.
Yeah.
I can't go on. And they're like, No, you're good. Like,
you know what it should be? It should be like in terms of faking injuries. Have them fake like legitimate physical injuries, and then the final thing should be like something legitimate like frostbite, where you wouldn't recognize it initially, but they're like, I can't feel anything, and they're like, yeah, sure, okay, whatever, because this whole time they've been like, I broke my hand, or like my arm's broken, or like my knee is swollen,
I tore my meniscus,
like stuff like that, where it's like. They keep describing ailments that could happen.
So it's kind of like it's kind of the Key and Peele where he's kind of trying to get a medical card, but he's like, my hand, yeah, like the same thing. He's like, I'm blind. Like he's just saying stuff that's like really verifiable. Like, okay, you're right, but then you're right. So the climax is like dies of frostbite, or
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things where he's like,
because it was a snowy cabin, right?
Yeah, it's cold already. So that's one of those things where could be legitimate, but they're like at this point so ready for like so in the mind and willing that they're just coming up with more things to describe themselves as like injured. Like they probably already went through the entire list of physical things that you could do. Maybe like tears. That's another one. But yeah, getting to the point where it's like, that's a real thing. Yeah.
He gets a frostbite and he dies.
Yeah.
And then, how do we wrap up that sketch? These all need like a nice little bow.
The two people who are remaining are like, well, we can't call him now.
Okay. So this is why he doesn't talk about it later on. Like,
yeah, they're like, we can't. Like, if we call him, they're gonna ask us why we didn't help him, and they're not gonna believe our story of him being injured because now he's all broken up. Like now he actually is dead. So like,
it looks bad.
Yeah, it looks bad on us. So they're like, well, we have been running kind of low on food tonight.
No, I don't want. This isn't right. This isn't what I want to do. I do like them just like throwing him off a cliff or something though. Like something to just drive home how much this person sucks. So, like,
Okay.
Maybe they like find like something embarrassing on him. I don't know.
They've got to take the body and like get rid of it somehow, for sure. And like the one dude who is at the bowling alley later on is definitely got to be the person who's like struck by it. Like the other person in that duo is like, we need to do this. Like we need to get rid of it. And it's more the like.
And then the person that kind of got dragged along with it, like didn't really know what was going on, is the person we're gonna stick with later.
Yeah. Who's like.
Gotcha. Oh, and this is so good. This ties right in. I love that we turn this into a murder thing because that goes right into the whole like. Excuse me. That goes right into the whole criminal at the DMV trying to think like not. So that's the next sketch already set up. That's perfect. Okay, so they hide the body basically, dispose of it, like instead of reporting it. Mm-hmm. Like now they have this crime. This is fun because most sketches, like when you're ending it, you're not trying to set something else up. Yeah, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's cool. It's cool.
Alright, so let's do the DMV one next.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got to brainstorm here about this DMV sketch. Mm-hmm. All right, what's going on in this one? We know it's about the person. Like, why are they need to get their license renewed? I guess, but like, that can't be.
No. They're trying to get a license. Like they're I don't know. It's got to be like a criminal, a super criminal specifically, who's trying to get to like Batman level and try to get like a Batmobile. So he's got like a criminal vehicle, and he's like,
what?
Yeah, like a crime mobile. It's like a crime van.
Wait, who is this? I wanted the person who was in the cabin who had to hide the body.
Oh,
I want that to be the person.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
Because they have to play into it somehow. So okay. I'm saying they should come in and be like trying to do some kind of transaction that needs them to like. Yeah, I don't know, because like, is it just that like they don't want to show their face for the picture? I don't feel like there's a lot you can do with that. I'm not seeing as much traction.
Okay,
there.
Hold on. Because initially I'm imagining DMV to be like, the initial spark was Hamburglar with that, in the sense where it's like a straight up criminal, but potentially might they're recognizable, but recognizable with their mask on as a criminal.
Okay.
So now that they're at the DMV, it's like, I can't take your photo with you looking like a criminal. Like, your two options are you can take your mask off and I can take your picture. And when I say mask, I'm talking like a ski mask, like a full. The only thing I can see are your eyes and your mouth, like not.
Gotcha. Yeah.
2020 masks. Your two options are to take that off and, look, get your photo taken, or keep wearing what you're wearing and walk out. Like, those are your options. And this guy's like, man, I just got dropped off. Like,
I just got dropped off.
I got the crime van towed, like, down the street. Like, I was gonna drive it back home.
But how do we figure in our
how do we
incorporate?
incorporate
We gotta get our character B to be character A now.
Yeah.
So he goes. It's just so weird that he's at the DMV now. I love the idea of him being like he's got this whole criminal, like he's hiding now, even though no one knows, obviously. Yeah.
Okay. What if part of this is like the aftermath of trying to get rid of this person's body, right? So they've already dealt with the body, they've already gone rid of all that, but now it's like I have to walk in and I have to walk in masked as the person that is dead and tell them that I want to sell my car to this other guy.
And it could be like the other character.
Yeah.
They could be both of them. Like they're coming in
to this other guy for free or like for $1, the like minimum amount legal.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, in order to do that, we just got to get like, I don't know, just come up with some like.
Well, we have to verify. Your identity,
yeah, you got to verify your identity. You're wearing a mask. It's like, well, hey, hold on now. I need it for medical reasons. I have alopecia. Okay. Come on. I don't want to see all that. I don't want to.
I just feel like we're missing the like. That's a good set. We're missing the whole like before we got onto that like faking injuries thing. We're missing the like repeatable.
Yeah.
Part of the joke.
Yeah.
For this one. I definitely love hiding. There's just no reason they'd be taking his picture. That doesn't make any sense. We gotta do something different. We gotta come at this from a different angle.
Well, the only reason they would take his picture if
he was like getting a new license.
Yeah,
doesn't make any
new
sense,
like
though.
ID. I mean, maybe that's real. There's people who have to get their like IDs renewed.
He's trying to fake. No. Like that he goes over to the border to try and get. You're right. He's trying to get a new ID as the dead guy in a different state, just to throw everyone to be like, oh, did he run away? Like, why he went over to a new state? No one heard from him since, but we know he got a new license over here. So, yeah, somehow there's some kind of goof about like they do like a makeup, like they try to do like a makeover thing to make him look like him, and something happens to him to mess up his wig or something. I mean, better than that, but you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Like, I do like, I think there's something there. He could be trying to go in disguise. Let's come back to that idea. I think that was good. Let's do that. He's trying to go in his disguise in like the next state.
Yeah.
And he's got it.
Well, because I'm imagining like the third person, the one who gets killed, probably had a car.
Yeah.
They probably had a vehicle. So now that they've gotten rid of the person, they need to get rid of the vehicle. And it's either like completely just trashing it, doing something with it, or they, if you want to have the least track, like literally like have a line where, he's still alive and he just sells his car in a different state, like moves somewhere.
Just to sell it, yeah.
Well, he could even hypothetically move to like a city where he wouldn't need a car. So then it's like part of it is Yeah, he sold his car and moved to the city.
Yeah.
So that is the reason to sell his car. They got to, in order to sell the storyline of what happened to the guy, they then need to embody him to finish the narrative that they're painting for him.
I feel like I'm tripping balls. What are we writing right now? Can we cut to commercial?
Should we?
Yeah,
Are we in too deep?
We're in too deep. Let's cut to commercial. We gotta regroup.
Okay. We'll cut to commercial.
Alright, we're like an hour in.
That's
well,
alright.
probably less.
Yeah, that's alright. It'll get cut. You know what? The last one, episode 1, final, is only like hour 20.
Okay.
Yeah, with everything edited down.
So this is a good time for it. Let's we're gonna ladies and gentlemen, we gotta go.
Yeah.
We're in too deep.
We're in too deep.
We gotta come up for air before we approach this one again.
Okay. Alright. We'll be back. We'll be back.
Enjoy these short messages.
Yeah, enjoy this ad break. I wonder what it'll be.
Something good.
Oh man, you already know what time it is. Time to get that money.
Time to earn our paychecks, which we definitely get.
Yep. Thanks to you, lovely supporter. Did you know that Leaving Someday and Content Factory recently received our very first patron? We would like to give this sponsored segment a very special shout out to our first patron, Eric Frank 420 Zappa. Congratulations, Eric Frank 420 Zappa, for being our very first patron. I hope you enjoy your note card.
Yeah, it sucks to be everyone else who can't be the first patron anymore. But
yeah.
At least you can maybe be fourth or fifth.
You know what they can be? There's still ample opportunity to be one of the first 10 patrons. And did you know that of the first 10 patrons, we're going to host a chocolate milk party for all of them?
And this is real.
This is real. A chocolate milk party. It might be digital, but there will be chocolate milk.
It's good that that's available everywhere.
Yeah, it is great. It's crazy. So again, to support us, to support Content Factory, to
increase the quality of this podcast.
Yeah, to increase the quality of this podcast and maybe even the quality of our ad reads. Check it out. Buy LSD online. ONL. That's all you got to do.
Can't forget it.
Can't forget it. Well, I think this is on the shorter side of our ad reads, but you know what? I think we got some stories.
Was the theme for this episode.
Yeah, we got some stories to get back into.
Let's get back to it.
Yep.
So I wanted to hit you with a new angle on this DMV sketch. I was thinking about it over the commercial break. I don't know about you.
Okay.
And I do like this idea of he's coming in to try and basically... See, I don't know if I really focused on the beginning. I think I was focused more on the middle and end part, because that's where we were. That's where we were kind of getting lost.
Okay.
We knew he has some kind of altercation where they're like, "We need to see your face" or whatever, and he knows he's hiding because he thinks everyone's out to get him because he's like just committed manslaughter or whatever. He's like he can't show his real identity. But I'm thinking your rising action, right? Because that's what I was saying. We're missing that, like, where's the thing that we keep building, like the joke that we keep doing over and over again. I think you're like in-house cop. I don't know, like, do DMVs always have that? But like, there'd be if there's like a cop there, or even like a security guy, like they have him like come over to like, because it's like super suspicious. He's like, why don't you show us your face or whatever. And so that's like going to be your rising action. Man, I really wish I wrote this all down. I forget where I was going with that. And then I was doing something with that.
Oh, man.
And I eventually wanted to have him just, like, leave or something.
I do, alright, I like
the idea of the cop I lost the meat of the idea. I had the spice, and I lost the whole thing. It was good.
I was in for the ride.
Okay.
I like the concept of the, like, police officer being called over, but he's gotta, like...
Right, and he's like pressing him. Like this is how you heighten.
That's what I'm saying. He's got to press him. Like
this is the heightening of the stakes.
Is this police officer like part of the same unit that would be called for?
Oh, maybe
people in the region.
Maybe I didn't even think about this. Maybe this cop is the character. He's the star of the next sketch. Somehow, like, or maybe he's I don't know. Maybe he's called to the bowling alley fight because it's that bad. I don't know. We can come back to that because we're not really done with this one yet. But.
Yeah.
I want the cop to come over And yeah, I wanted the climax basically to be his reason for leaving, like his whatever shitty excuse. But I forget how I really wanted this to go. I don't know if I really have a full idea, only part of one. That's why I had to.
Okay.
That's why I had to come to the content factory.
Yeah, I mean, hey man, content gives, you know.
Content gives. This is what we're here for.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So.
Boy, I wish we had some user suggestions to help us right now. Put it that way.
I mean, it's okay. Hey, if you have a user suggestion, it'd be amazing if you went to content.gives and submitted it. But in the meantime, this is what we got. So if you out there think, I could come up with a better idea for these jabronis to build off of, I'm sure you literally could. And I'm asking you, please, just do it.
The bottom line is we are desperate and will say yes to anything.
Just like a Little Caesars pizza.
What?
I'm hot and ready.
Oh, God. Okay, no more grandpa. Okay. No more jokes that you heard from your uncle last year at Thanksgiving. You trying to get the rest of them out of your system before?
No, I'm good.
This is recorded before Thanksgiving, by the way. That's why I'm hitting him with this.
It is, should I date this? Yeah,
it's the 14th right now.
Wow, that's crazy. Someone's gonna be like, dang, dude. The 14th of December? No, November, dog. What?
I hope they're not thinking like, man, they don't even know about. I hope there's not one of those coming up.
That would be so.
They don't even know about Brovid. Like, Brovid been sweeping the world again. This new one's turned everyone into an asshole.
Everybody,
they're all broy now.
Suddenly got a mullet and sunglasses. Everyone drives a pickup now,
and they don't even need a mask.
Okay. That's good. All right. I need
the
this.
The climax can't be like he fights the cop, can it? Unless, and this is one of those things where like you can't say something's not literature, right? Like sketches are literature because this could be foreshadowing of the bigger fight to come in the final act, right? Like we could have them actually like resort to violence, like he just fights the cop and gets like actually arrested, like, and then it's like about like his fear is what got him, you know what I mean, or something. Like there's some kind of lesson there. Like he was so afraid of getting arrested that like he went over the edge and like tried to run away and like fought the cop when really like all he had to do was be like, oh, I forgot my wallet in the car. Or something.
So it was like him being sketched out was his own downfall. If he played it off smoother, they would have let him off.
And in fact, I don't think it's the ski mask, because if we want this to be a little bit more believable, but like do that right, I think it's like big glasses or something. Like he does kind of like he changes his hair a little bit or whatever, like to try and look like the driver's license picture, but then hides the rest with like big ridiculous glasses, and they're like, can you can take those off in the picture? He's like, they're prescription. And then it's like, it's like, that's, we don't have that on. But like, okay. So he's going to do whatever he's doing, sell the car or something.
Yeah, he's got to sell it, I want to sell my car and move to the city so that I can live in the city forever.
Yeah, okay. So then we don't have to do this whole setup of he's getting his picture taken. That seemed like that's the right idea, but I think we just do it as like he needs to like look at him. You know what I mean? Like just like he's looking at his ID. He's like, "Can you remove your glasses, please?"
Yeah.
And if we wanted to make it even like, why would he care so much? Like we could also have him. He's got the big glasses and like he's got his hood up and pulled tighter. Like so, it's like he's like, "Can you take your hood off, please?" Like, can you take your glasses off? Like he's already suspicious.
Yeah. Like,
okay, yeah. This is right. And then the cop has to come up. Okay. I think we got it.
Yeah.
What do you think? Are we missing anything? He comes in is to do the criminal activity of falsely assuming the identity of a dead man and selling his car.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's planning this whole. You could do this whole bit where he's like really overplaying, and like everyone he sees, he's just like thinking about moving to the city. Like, just
everywhere he sees
Just stressed out at home. I can't take it anymore. I'm just running away. Okay. So then, like, the twist is, like, the dude's checking his IDs onto him, and he won't show his face to reveal his ID.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna write, like, he won't show his face for ID. I mean, no, the cop comes over, and it's, like, shenanigans ensue, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Cop interrogates.
Cop interrogates interrogatingly.
Detectively. Then there's, like, violence, right? Like, they fight. Like, they literally run in. Like, he runs and then they fight.
I like the imagery of one of those.
You can see it outside the window, like, he tackles him, like, trying to get around him.
Like, they're both, like, going in the same direction. And then, like, trying to get around.
Two...
And he just goes in the, like the blocking for this is important. Because they would both be, like, facing this way. Like, facing towards each other, but the exit is towards the person who's leaving, like, there. Like, there would be no need to be going left and right, because I'm not going forward.
Right.
My final movement is right.
I got you. Like, it's like the door's behind him, but he's so focused on trying to psych out the cop that he's just he's just hopping left foot and right foot, like, and the cop's just kind of confused, like, he's not really engaging either, because he's like, is this guy about to hit me? Like, I don't know what I do. And there's, like, a second of confusion before...
Yeah, he books it. He's like,
no, wait, I think the cop just gets him right there. I think he's still doing that. The cop just tackles. He doesn't even get to start running. He just...
No, I feel like you should start running.
Okay.
Like, at least, maybe he doesn't get out of the door.
Because we don't want this...
starts moving.
Right, because we don't want this to be a bad cop, right? We gotta be careful. Yeah. We need him to... So
he's gotta be doing the right thing.
So let me write this down. He takes 3 steps menacingly toward the cop. with witnesses. Who also happen to work for the government at the DMV are the witnesses.
They just happen to.
So yeah, he basically tackles him. And he gets arrested. He, like, obviously they, like, you could, like, the next sketch could start, like, the cop is getting home from work. He's like, yeah, we just finished that investigation, like, finished that case on that dude with the fake identity. Yeah, turns out there's a whole murder. Like, there's this whole thing. Like, but we can, like, wrap that up real quick.
Yeah,
like,
we didn't even get into that. He's like, it's the weekend, man. Like, we're gonna open that one up on Monday.
I'm just looking forward to bowling.
Yeah. I'm just looking forward to bowling. I mean,
okay, so that's great foreshadowing is the fight. So he's trying to sell the car as the dead guy.
Yeah, that's so good. Okay, so are we following the officer?
I think so. And I mean, we had this factory
the location
thing.
of factory, or do we want to stick with that, or do we want to go?
What are your thoughts? I want to hear what you have to say first, and then I'll tell you what I think.
Well, initially, like, back before we had anything written for 1 through 5, the idea I was gonna go with was, like, something with the car itself malfunctioning and having to go to the factory where the car is developed as, like, a next step. But we've already kind of, like, paved this road.
Yeah, we kind of burned the bridge of, like, the car, because that's done, I think.
We already paved this road, so now I'm like, I don't know, I'm indifferent to it. We can either have them try to go out to a factory to see if that pertains to anything. Have them be at home.
I was thinking of them going to home, because this is after that, like, case or whatever. Yeah. But if we want to be, like, let's be good about that. I don't know if we can start breaking rules. This is only episode 2. Or do we say that, you should, because it's probably good to break rules. This is the creative process.
Honestly, yeah. We don't want to be too, like, strict and rigid.
You're right. Like, we want to have a good finished product at the end of this.
Came up with that concept of factory because of the title.
Of our... Yeah, we can't keep that in.
And the fact that we were looking at AI images. Like, we can't just be like, yeah, we got to now. Like, if we organically see a better narrative outplaying, let's follow.
Here's the only reason I think it could be factory, though, is because I was going to say he goes home to his wife and he's talking about work, but now that I think about it, that kind of sucks, right? Because that seems kind of like, I don't know, that seems like one of those things like you should never write as a screenwriter. You know what I mean? Like, guy comes home from work, hey honey, like, it's just like, no, like, let's do a different angle here.
Okay.
So I'm thinking maybe use the fact, because if people are supposed to be, if we want collected like characters at this bowling alley fight at the end, right? We could totally do. Okay. The other killer, so to speak, it was manslaughter, not murder. Right? It was an accident.
Yeah.
But the other killer, so to speak, from the first sketch, he'll be there. We'll have the cop be there. We'll have this third person be like one of the cop's friends that owns a factory or runs. So he's like there, you know, for some other. Maybe there's like obviously,
production.
You know, a worker stole something. That happens all the time, or you know, I don't know, whatever. But he's talking about it. But he's talking about bowling the next day, and he's like, you know, just I hope this goes well or whatever. And somehow this is a sketch. I don't know. We didn't do this one yet. And that's the third guy, would be like his friend there, and they're bowling together, and their collective friend, who's this other killer, who like no one knows he was on the trip yet, but then like this is how we get to that climax fight, is they like he starts piecing it together. He's like, wait, where were you this weekend? Like, and he's like, he's like goes full on detective on him.
Yes. See, now that is something that I would love, like, as a all of these sketches, a combo, that is like a solid 12 minutes, maybe even 20.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Hear me out, though. Ooh. This third sketch seems very important now, because we know what's going on with the bowling alley one.
Yeah.
We need this factory guy not to be a random... Yeah, it can't be just a random incident. Why is it it should be connected to the murder somehow. That seems like such a tying... Yeah. That seems like what ties this whole thing together. Everything's tied to that... Well, that one idiot that died in the beginning, like, because he was an idiot.
Guy who cried wolf his way to death.
He was faking injuries while hiking because he just
couldn't say, no, guys, I don't want to go hiking. You guys are too much for me, man. Like,
that should be how it starts. Not that he's not even that he's bragging like on his own, but it's like he just can't say no. Like he's trying to fit in. No, that's too sad. That's too sad, actually. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I like the more pompous aspect of it.
Yeah, like he's a pompous ass.
You have a reason for the character to lay in rest and be like. Now you feel content with them being laid to rest because of that being the inciting incident for everything else.
You actually feel kind of sympathetic for like the killer at the DMV because like this happened to him, kind of. But you also don't really like. It makes sense the cop is doing what he's doing, like not to start a whole thing, but you know what I mean. Like I feel like this is a pretty good Pulp Fiction-esque this is great. This is perfectly what we wanted. But that's why this third sketch can't be random. Because the other ones are kind of fitting together.
It's gotta fit. Okay, so when are we going to see the other killer? Because we've been following...
at the bowling alley. Do we need him again?
Well, I was gonna say, are we gonna... Like, is that gonna be the tie-in? We see him in the first one and the last one?
Maybe.
Because I was gonna say in the third one, it could also follow, like, him, I don't know whether it's at his work or his side of perspective of like, because granted the other guy was the side of the killer where he's like kind of more shunned and stunned by it. This guy, if he's more like open and brazen about it, you could have that like play into that where he's now working at some factory and he's like, you know, all the dude bros are talking about how they went hunting over the weekend and he's like, yeah, I went trophy hunting. And they're just like, okay. And he's like, yeah, I killed a man. And they're like, what? What are you talking about? Like, they're all, you know, just talking about, like, yeah, I hunting a deer. I caught a raccoon. Or, you know, I managed to even catch a bear somehow. Like, that. You ever have bear jerky? Like, it's crazy. And
he's like, I killed a man. Yeah. Like, he's just trying to brag.
Like, trying to fit in. And then they're just like... What? What are you talking about? And I don't know. In terms of progression, though, because I feel like even if that's just like...
I definitely want the cop to be the star of this one, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah?
Yeah, and then because I want him to be in the bowling alley one. Okay. And I want him to fight the other killer. But then the star of the bowling alley one, who's who sees that fight happen, right? That's the sketches from their perspective. That's who needs to be introduced now. It needs to, you know what I mean? And I think...
Yeah, okay, I think I see what you mean.
And I think it needs to be... I don't know.
Is it a friend of, like, the
a friend of the person who
killer?
died? A friend of someone the person who died, maybe. Because, like, obviously the cop would go and talk to
them,
right? So maybe maybe they worked at this factory. Like, this is their place of employment. The person they used to work at this factory. So he's like, I'm going to go talk to his employer and see if there's any sign of him trying to, you know, go anywhere or anything, like, with this person, like where they might have been.
Yeah.
So he's going in, and the twist and the heightening is something like... At first I was thinking... If the other killer was in this scene, the jokes could be all about him trying to hide evidence, keeps like falling out, and he's like quickly like puts it away or whatever. But I think you could do that dance in the bowling alley scene just in dialogue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what we should save it for there. So I think
saving it just a little bit longer. That'd have a harder payoff.
Yeah. So I was thinking...
No, you're good.
So I was thinking... I'm thinking it's something between... It's something about because it should be about that dip that died in the beginning, but, like, from the perspective of, like, his manager or whatever, because, like, that's just being interviewed, and he's like...
Okay.
But I don't really know where I'm going with this.
Alright, so... Who would be coming back to the bowling alley from the said factory? Who knows the dude who got killed?
No, that's a good point.
Is it a coworker? Is it a manager? Is it a... Who is that person? Because they need to, talk to the police officer.
They need to know this other killer, too. Like, this other...
Yeah, they need
maybe all three of them worked at the factory together. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean... That opens up some more things, though. Because then it's like... The one guy at the DMV... I mean, well, I guess that is just to... They could all work at the factory.
Yeah, there's no reason they couldn't have all been coworkers in the beginning. Like, that makes sense. Like, they're on a trip together because they're coworkers.
That could honestly also set up why they are having it's just a workplace conversation. They're going to go climbing or hiking mountain.
So maybe he goes and he talks to... Okay, and this is also kind of adds some flavor to it, I feel like. The second killer, the one that hasn't gotten caught yet, is the manager.
Wait a minute.
That's who he's going to talk to in this scene. And so then you can then we can do that. This is where we do that dance of he's like obviously hiding something, and it's like it's obvious to the audience, but it's like funny seeing him just keep covering it up.
Yeah. I love that, because then that's one of those I'm blanking on what it's called. It's like literary device where you have like part of the audience knows.
Yeah. This
is like situational irony or something.
One of the
like that. Yeah, one of those.
I said dramatic irony before, but I think you might be right. It might be situational irony.
Where it's
situational irony, sarcasm. I don't know.
One of the. Well, I'm not.
Let's say this. It's certainly irony.
Yeah,
it's very good.
It's like 4-dimensional though, because like the audience is in on it, but the characters aren't, and that's the best. And because you're as the audience the whole time you're like, when are they gonna find out? What are they gonna know? And you just have to watch it all play out.
This is perfect, right? The example
that's amazing.
The basic example of this type of irony is it's like two people having dinner and like the camera goes under the table and there's a bomb under it. You know what I mean? Like this is that. Like you know, it's like is he gonna find out in this scene?
Yeah.
It's like that we tease it, but he finds out in the next one. Okay. So let's at least I know the beginning. We can cross this off. I'm gonna put. The cop goes to interview manager, who's the second killer.
Okay. He's the more pompous guy.
And I guess like, that's why I like it though, is because like it's fucked up that he's the manager. Like, and then it's like you can see him. He has like some kind of drive to like cover things up, like
channeling his inner. What is that, like American Psycho?
Yeah. Yes.
Just no. We're fine. Everything's okay.
The twist is let's come up with something more specific. We keep saying he's hiding something. We're like, what does that actually look like?
I mean,
maybe
this could be after all of the vehicle stuff. So
yeah,
it could be like he's got the dude who was killed's car in the parking lot.
Or even, I was just gonna say, like, his stuff in a locker. You know what I mean? Like, if he works there. Like, you could do it like that.
Yeah, that too. Like, oh, I don't have his keys. Well, you're the manager. You should be able to have the, like, master key that can open anyone's stuff. It's like, about that. The master key doesn't work on his lock. Like, I don't know. You're right. Like, that's got to go somewhere.
Yeah. He goes to interview the manager. He's like, can I look in his locker? That's I feel like that's such a, I don't know how, but that's definitely a turning point.
That is a turning point.
He won't let him look at this. Is kind of like the last sketch though, of just like, can we see your face? And it's like, no, like, no, that's not. Well, that's okay. We just gotta twist it somehow.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because it's applicable in a different way.
Like, just show him like the wrong locker, but then it's like, and he's like, okay, yeah, I guess everything's normal. And he's like, wait, what? It's like, this is a picture of his, like, husband, and it's like, you know, I met his wife. Like, what is it? It's like, okay, well, oh, yeah, sorry. And it's like, wait, yeah, his name's not Lucy. What is it? This is someone else's lock? I don't know. I don't think that's good enough. That was one idea. Let's come up with a different one.
Okay, yeah, that's one branch. Alright, he's investigating the locker. And he's at the point where he's got to open up the dude's locker. So the manager is dreadful because he's like, this is going to be all the evidence. Like, this is where everything is. He opens up the locker. It's empty.
Yeah.
Police lets him off the hook. That's why when they're at the bowling alley, they're at least, like, calm at first. There's a moment where the guy's putting it together.
Yeah, but then... And then what starts it off at the bowling alley is, because this is a good cop, right? And he's been doing his homework.
Yeah.
So he knows like about the victim.
Yeah, he's doing his research.
And he recognizes like it's because again this guy's like he's kind of like the actual psycho guy.
Yeah.
He recognizes this has become different from what we wanted it to be. By the way,
I don't even care though.
No, this is great.
Yeah.
So he notices like he's wearing the dead dude's like coat. Or something from his locker, like because he's a real pompous, like
he's got like some memorabilia.
He's playing a different game of bowling, probably or whatever. You know what I mean? But then he was like, obviously they got to come over and bump into each other, and he's like, what the like? I know that. Like I've seen pictures of this jacket. Like I know it.
Like that's the jacket with, or like even asking them a specific question about it, like. Hey, does your jacket have like an
employee? It has an employee number. It has an employee number on it.
Yeah,
and he's like. You see him looking at the number, and he knows what the number, and he's like, "That's the dude's number." And it like, I don't know. That doesn't have to be. It could be like the patch, but like, yeah, something like that. He recognizes the code.
Patch because we do have some spare leaving someday Lungo patches that we might be able to put onto a legit like that green one over there in the back,
right?
Like a legitimate jacket, so that it is like a.
I like that you bring a very like a producer mind to these things too, like knowing what we're actually like. What if we actually are doing this?
Yeah, because now the next thing I'm thinking is like the numbers or whatever the signifier is. We have to have the person wearing that in something, whether that be sketch one or somewhere in that where you can. Once that reveal is taken off later on, you have to be able to let the audience. Go back and watch the beginning and pause and be like, there it is. That's the detail I didn't know that was hidden there the whole time. Like, that's the giveaway. That is how you really, really build something.
All right, so let's figure out this. This is a little bit delicate here because we want some kind of a build-up, and then we know we want him showing the locker and it's empty, and then I don't know. Like, I feel like it's cool if they're both shocked by that, but I also feel like we don't really have a place in our plot to like wrap that up. Like why is the locker empty? Like I feel like the other guy that's in jail like did something with it, but like I don't know. We can't wrap that up in the bowling alley scene. I don't know. I like
first guy who When they're like, hey, question where the first guy went.
We know
the quiet guy.
We know he's
legitimately in the car driving to the city.
No, like, but we know he emptied the. No, well, he gets arrested. Remember? But we he emptied the locker because in the DMV sketch we can plant, right? You just plant that like he's got this dude's like ID and stuff.
Yeah,
like and
he's got his.
So he must have just and he just went and he just like emptied out the locker because he took everything. So like that's something that we won't necessarily even have to explain. That's another one of those like piece it together moments. Yeah. So I'm gonna leave that as like the out is like, as you know, because like they'd open it and it's empty and he's like, yeah, you know, he just I guess never really kept a lot of stuff in here. I don't know, like. Or he must have taken it all out.
Yeah,
like,
he must have.
Before he went wherever he went. Like,
must have taken all of his stuff.
And he kind of plays it off, and then the cop's like, all right, you know, thank you for your time, and leaves. And I think you're out to this one. Because we're kind of abandoning the whole, each one's a comedy sketch 100%.
Yeah.
And we're doing, like, kind of a noir thing at this point. I think the out here
like
is
you consecutive.
You just leave on him looking in there and going, like, huh. Like, so you know that he doesn't even know what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna like the out is like...
Even the manager killer is... Like, he's brushing it off like this works out in his favor. But he's also confused. Like, okay, that's not right.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell, you know, something should be in there. And that it's not.
Okay, so... What we're kind of missing is what happens between the cop getting there and them seeing the locker. Like, and I think one thing is, and this kind of makes sense if you've ever, like, had a job, like, in retail or something where you're really busy. Like, we've all been here and done this, but I like the idea of him doing it to the cop, where the cop's trying to get him, and he just keeps going like, oh, 1 second, and like disappearing. You know what I mean? And he's got to like chase him around and like, where is the guy? Like, where's your manager? And like, he's like, oh, he went that way. He's just got to keep doing that until he finally gets him. And the dude thinks he's like, well, I guess no, because he still thinks like the locker's probably full and he doesn't want him to see anything. But he's like, yeah, he just runs out of options. Like he does that long enough where he finally he's just like he's like got nothing, and he's like the cop interrogates him.
Comes down to the last corner, the last. Like, hall of groceries here. What is that called? A lane?
Lane? An aisle.
Yeah, an aisle. That's the one.
So I'm gonna
gets out to the last aisle, and he's like, oh no, I gotta spill the beans.
Yeah, I gotta do it now. Okay, let's hurry. So, cop goes to interview him, but he runs away, and then for the middle part of this sketch, it's just. Him like literally hiding, but like in ways that look ostensibly like he's just keeping himself busy. But he's like, you see him like he's writing, he's like doing something where he's like standing behind a pillar and stuff. You know what I mean? Like those things. So like visual gags of manager hiding in plain sight. Put it that way.
Yeah.
The cop gets to him. They look in the locker. It's empty. We end on a kind of a more serious tone of the killer being like confused, and it's a little bit of like tension or suspense there of like what's going on. Bowling alley fight. We did it, by the way. We stuck to the 4 ideas we wrote down, all the 4 locations.
That was in a factory?
Yeah, that one was in a factory because he went to their workplace.
Oh, snap! We did it.
Yeah, we kind of just said like they work in a factory. Like, well, you know, we got there. We got that factory into the episode.
Hold on, I'm gonna move the microphone about. No, yeah, that sounds good. I mean, we just got to do the last
sketch. So
sketch of this. Yeah, bowling
and this
alley.
Is the everything coming together at the bowling alley fight.
I love that. I don't know how we got here, but I think that's amazing.
Something about the cop's character tells me he should be playing a game by himself. Like he came here to play bowling by himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I see him as that.
As the guy who's like trying to break his record. So he's like,
or even just kill the time, but like kind of like he's just like playing against himself. Like this is he just likes bowling and he's in his element or whatever, and he's like, you know, he's just like
he
he's
used
lonely.
To be a bowling champ.
He's lonely. I feel,
and he just likes the scene.
He's
You know,
your
he can-
typical noir
he can
hero
wear.
is lonely.
He should
That's
be
it.
able to wear regular clothes.
Yeah,
At this point.
yeah. This time he's in his civilian.
Yeah, he's wearing his civilian clothes.
The guy doesn't
and-
recognize him, so
Uh-huh.
he does something flagrantly, like he does something. He telegraphs it. Oh, okay, yeah, because he doesn't realize it's in front of the
cops. Like, finally, I can be a regular human being, and these people aren't all like tense around me, trying to, you know, like lie to me or do any of this. I'm just here to bowl.
And
I
the
just,
theme is like crime waits for no one.
okay.
So this one is from the perspective, technically, of the manager. Because remember, even though he's been in multiple sketches now, he hasn't been like character A, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Because the first one was the guy who gets killed.
Was the main character, right?
Yeah.
And he just showed up as the cop was the main character. So I think he should. The manager now we open on him coming, and like first we see the cop in the background, like and then it gives us some more of that irony where the audience sees him bowling, but he's just in a sweater, so like you don't really.
Yes. Oh man, that's so good.
Manager bowling with coworkers or whatever, you know, with friends. And it's like, you know, man, guys, we're also, you know, I just want to thank everybody for, you know, keeping your heads together and working even in this hard time. Like, we're all really messed up that what's his name killed our other coworker. Like, he's like washing his hands of it, and it's like he's like the one guy got arrested like as a scapegoat or whatever. Maybe that's on purpose, I don't know. So he's there, like he's bowling with his, let's say it's his coworkers, and he's giving them this whole,
and he's giving them the lowdown
fabrication.
Like, well, I feel like if he's the manager's like bowling with his coworkers, I feel like these should be his like actual buddies.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Probably other managers, not like his employees.
Yeah,
You're
like
right.
other managers, to the point where he's talking about it like guys, you won't believe what like kind of week that I've just had. And he's telling the story, and they're like, dude, what the fuck? Like, you gotta talk to someone.
I don't know if he would tell them. I still like because I don't know if the cop like sneaks up and hears it. I like the idea of him seeing the coat or whatever still being the thing.
Okay.
But I don't like that might not have been how you were gonna connect it though. Like what? Because I just feel like if they're that messed up about his story, like you're saying, why would they just go and immediately report it?
The other side of that I was gonna realize is they hear that and they're like, nothing. That's nothing, dude. Like, like.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if these guys are a real tight knit group of like sleazeballs,
that's gotta be like
climbing the corporate ladder and doing whatever. Like, maybe they probably have stories of like drugs and prostitutes or whatever. At least,
you know,
like
this
probably isn't even the first manslaughter story. Like,
well, or I was gonna say even one of the other guys could be like, oh, that's got nothing on this story from years back where we had to cover up, like, dude, I couldn't even tell you how many people. Okay, it could fit on, like, one hand, but, like, yeah. I don't, just going into, like, him describing a story that seems so horrid and bad, and then the other people who you're expecting to be like, that's terrible, we need to, like, tell someone, they're, like, double down and be like, oh, actually, we have one from a little bit, like back in our day, that's even worse. We'll talk. Okay. Like, don't worry about that. That's nothing.
Good. That's
good. Like minor leagues.
We can keep the cop in the background for most of this too, because the jokes are just them telling these stories, basically going back and forth. Your climax is like, I killed a man and I'm wearing his jacket. Like, or so he like stands up and announces it, or something. I don't know. Or
killed a man and I'm wearing his jacket.
Or you do literally just have the cop like see it, like happen to see him and be like, wait a minute, like, and then he knows the. I still like the idea of him just knowing that it's the jacket because he's like cool and he's good at his job.
I like the concept of him looking at it and like squinting, being like,
yeah, exactly,
is that the
one? I want that part.
And then like, I don't know, asking the dude a question or like asking him to turn around so that the signifier of whether it is or isn't would be revealed when the guy like turns around. Like blocking wise, you would initially see shoulders and back. So if he's wearing a jacket, let's say you see whatever's on the back of the jacket. It could just be a design or a blank jacket, whatever. But you're specifically looking for like
only his had
the patch on like your left torso or like somewhere on the other side, so that it's like the guy comes up, and even if it's not a accusatory question, it's just like a, hey, nice jacket, where'd you get it from? And the guy goes and turns around and trying to be pompous, he's like, well, I don't know.
He wouldn't say, like, even if he doesn't recognize the cop, I don't think he'd say, I killed a man.
Yeah,
I think he got it, though. But I think he turns around and he's like, he says something.
I bought it from H&M last week.
Yeah, like, I just got this or whatever.
Yeah, $100.
But I also like him turn around and be like, you can't afford it, like, jerk off or whatever, like, not realizing who he's talking to.
Yeah, like, really degrading to him. He's like, looks at his shoes, Sperry's? You couldn't afford this.
He doesn't recognize without the uniform, though, and he disses the cop.
And the cop's like, he sees the identifier, he goes, or I just like like him piecing it all together right there, thinking like, wait a minute.
And then you have him say like, sir, could you come with me? And the dude's like, what? And like realizes what he's saying, like realizes who he is, and he's like, in the name of the law, like,
I don't know if this breaks conventions, but part of me wants to like video editing, like production side wise, in the moments where he's like right as he's figuring out, like thinking about it, like, wait a minute, like this is a guy. I want some flashes from each prior sketch. Like
cool.
Just like a where it shows something like that is pinpointing more towards this dude from each one of the three things, just so that it's, or maybe if it's not from at least some that the cop was there for, so that it's like
something at the DMV where you saw on the driver's license or whatever, I don't know, like, and then something that happened at the factory, of course. Yeah, that's good.
So then he's literally like putting the pieces together.
And we see that happen.
So, wait. No, the first one's already cemented. I was going to say, I'm imagining like even some kind of like radio call in the first one. Like, so that you could have them come back to that moment where like they're hearing a call, like the shot where he's just sitting in the, in the car waiting for somebody to speed by, middle of the night, it's darkness, and he's just hearing on the police radio like, we got 10-4, we need assistance over this way, that way, there might be something going on. And then he's like, I might look into it, but then like, I don't know, they settle down, they're like, it's resolved, we're good, we've got someone dispatched on it. So he could even think back to like the moment when someone in this region like had a dispatch where he's just hearing it,
or even you could even do a simple, like, he's staked out or whatever, just looking for people speeding around, and he's like, he realizes he saw that car, you know what I mean, like, that's the dude who's going to sell, like, he really puts that together,
even something like that.
Because obviously the three of them are driving past. Okay, so the manager goes bowling in this car because they tell the stories, they're trading back and forth. Cop finds them, fights them, like, I don't know which part is the...
Yeah, isn't this supposed to end in a brawl?
Yeah, I think it should end with... it should, like, climax with the brawl, and then, like, it should go out with, like, he's arrested or something, I don't know.
Alright, so...
Someone should die here. That's not, like, we should kill a character in this scene.
We got two options here. We can either have the police officer call backup, and then they do, like, a legit brawl scene where you have, like, you cut to each people fighting the other, like, bad guy, who I guess would be the killer and, like, two of his, like, managers. Yeah, he's off duty, though.
So it's not as easy. He probably wouldn't even have, like, a radio with him or whatever. He'd have to, like, call the police.
Yeah. So the other side is he goes John Wick style.
Yeah, someone's got to get crushed with a bowling ball or something. Like, there's, like, an epic fight scene at the end, and, one person gets thrown through the pins and, like, crushed into the machine.
I don't know if that's how that works.
I don't know either. I know
it work.
But I know you can crush someone's skull with a bowling ball.
That works.
That should be the climax. And then I feel like there could be some kind of tagline after that. Like, the cop finds him, they get into the fight, and do they kill the cop with the bowling ball? Because I don't feel like it's that reasonable for the cop to crush a dude's skull.
I was gonna say
ball.
I don't want the cop to kill somebody at the end of this. That doesn't feel right.
But I like the idea of this manager the whole time. Part of his pompousness has been, this is how you play it off. Part of it's been like he's still convinced he's innocent. Right? I didn't kill, like, right, because we know how the dude died from frostbite. Like, he didn't kill him or whatever.
Yeah.
They just didn't realize he was being serious.
Yeah.
So he's still, like, he's not even guilty at this point. But, like, the end of this is he actually, like, deliberately kills this cop with the bowling ball in front of God, in front of everybody, like, in this crowded bowling alley. And it's, like, that's his, like, downfall.
Yeah.
And then...
Oh, that's good.
Then, like, you're out is, like, the police come in or whatever. Like, and someone shoots him. And someone's like, "Fuck,
a good guy with a gun."
Balls. Like, yeah, good guy with a gun takes him out. Okay.
That's so bad. Okay, alright.
I was gonna fight with cop, crush with bowling ball.
Yeah. That is a really good, like, thematic full circle, though. I do like that.
I think it was good that we got theme in here. All kinds of irony.
Yeah.
All kinds of irony.
See, this is the kind of thing where I would watch this.
This is a good one.
Log.
I wasn't sure at the beginning of this episode, but I think this is good now. We got it. Man. And so then
every week we make something that I want to produce, and I don't know when we're going to get to.
No, I don't know.
That's
we can't make them all. Is the thing? That's why we got to just keep.
I know we got to keep putting these out. That's the crazy part. This is such a good library. All right.
And then like, oh yeah, because his coworkers would be like, dude, come on this way, and he freezes. Like, this is his first time feeling bad. You know what I mean? And he's just like, I'm not gonna run. You know what I mean? Like, that's the end.
He's killed an officer in a bowling alley, like, in front of everyone. The other two people that he was with, like the other managers, they did because they're like, dog.
Okay.
While we're still not involved, we're getting out of here.
Right, but at least like one of his friends
is gonna be like,
pull open the side door, like, come this way, like don't try to go out the entrance.
We got the car ready. Like, come on.
The car's running. Like, he's like trying to save him.
Like, the car's running. Like,
but then he's like, I'm not.
He's like, I'm not
saved. You know what I mean? He's like, oh man. This is beautiful. They're not all like through and through comedy sketches, but I feel like because we were going with this really basic like 5-act sketch form, the middle of each one ended up being like the heightening joke. So they're in there.
Yeah.
But then like they all kind of are rounded out with like a serious.
See, and this is what I like too, because this visually watching it is going to be crazy, because you would literally have the character being the centerpiece of each sketch.
Yeah.
Right? Like, in terms of, like, modern day YouTube retention. Like, that's one of those things where, like, you're delivering a longer format piece of content, but still having it shorter, but still making it in a way where you can be like, oh, I know this. Like,
and
like you're building something.
Through. That's what's really good about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we got it. Why don't we take our final break and come back with the summary?
Yeah, I guess so. That sounds like it. All right. We'll be back.
All right, we're back. We're going to do the summary of this sketch episode, this sketch noir murder mystery amalgamation that we've created. All right, so again, we don't have a title yet. We'll come up with that.
Oh, yeah, we should.
When we do the summary, you think about a title as I'm talking, okay? And then we'll slap it on at the end.
Okay.
So we got our four main sketches. Scene 1, we got this pompous asshole who's bragging about how good of a hiker he is because he doesn't want to say that he can't keep up with his friends. And so they go out on this hike, and he wants to quit because he realizes he's in over his head, but they won't let him quit, so he fakes injuries. And then because they won't believe him after he faked all the dumb injuries, he actually does die of frostbite because they're not taking him seriously. And then the two other people that were with him, the one of them is scared the other one's messed up, and he says, let's hide the body, we don't need to get involved with this. cut to a little bit later. We're at the DMV. The nervous killer is here trying to sell the car, posing as the dead guy, but he won't show his face to verify his identity. He's got big glasses on and a hood. So this cop comes over who's there, and he starts interrogating him. And the dude tries to run, and they get into this fight, and the cop arrests him, and they book him, and they find out about the murder and everything after that. So we go to the next scene, which is with this cop. He goes to the workplace of the victim and also, consequently, this killer. He interviews the manager of the victim, who happens to be this second killer, who is the one that wanted to hide the body, and he's avoiding the cop, and the cop gets him. They look in the locker, but it's empty, and the cop leaves him alone, but then the killer realizes he doesn't know why the locker's empty. So that's weird. And then we go to the next scene where there's a bowling alley. The cop was there bowling by himself because he's a serious, he's a grizzled veteran, so he has to bowl by himself. The manager's there bowling with his coworkers. He tells them about the murder, and they start competing to see who has the best, coolest crime stories. He draws attention to himself, so the cop comes over to interrogate him. And they get into a fight, concluding with the killer crushing the cop's face in with a bowling ball, deliberately.
Yeah.
And because this is his first actual serious murder, he feels so guilty that he doesn't run away and hide it this time. He lets them come and arrest him. And the title is
Season's Greetings. It's so bad.
Why did you call it that?
I don't know. I had no other title. I was like, man,
why
I
did
don't
you
even know
have that
I don't
title?
even know. It's winter. It's cold.
It's winter.
One guy gets frostbite. I feel like by the end of it,
classic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Frostbite. It's always associated with seasons.
Well, it's winter. It's cold, and I think that by the end of it, the fact that you're seeing so many things changing, that would be symbolic of the seasons, where it's like, oh, something changing. I don't know. That was my idea. It's not good. I had to come up with a title.
So this is our episode for this episode. It was 4 distinct little stories. We kind of wrapped them all together into a package.
That's good.
Season's greetings, everyone.
Season's greetings, right?
Season's greetings.
Right? Like it doesn't sound too bad. And I kind of like it because you hear that and you're like, oh, this is going to be nice. This is going to be kind. And you watch it and you're like, the first person I met got murdered. Like, what do you mean?
It is kind of a juxtaposition of sorts, yeah.
Yeah, like a Sunny in Philadelphia kind of thing.
Type of title, yeah.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you wait around for we have a secret bonus segment.
We got a little bonus clip now.
After the credits. In the meantime.
In the meantime,
I've been Carson DeAngelis, the elaborate storyteller.
Can you say that one more time for me?
I've been Carson DeAngelis, the elaborate storyteller.
Thank you. And I've been Zave Davy, the wavy baby. You know how it is. This podcast is brought to you by Leaving Someday Productions.
Content Factory is edited, of course, by Zave Davy.
That's me. Hey, wait a minute. I do that?
Yeah, the wavy baby edits this very podcast.
Whoa.
You've got some work to do.
Whoa. If you want to contribute any ideas to this podcast, you can type into your browser content.gives. You could submit your ideas, and we'll be reviewing them right here, as soon as anyone's here.
Yeah. The lanes are clear, so to speak. So if you've got any kind of idea that you think could be developed into something, yeah, we
should send it over, because, hey,
we are here with open arms.
The best time to get in is early, when no one else is there, so that you can solidify your position, It's like stocks. Get in while the getting's good. I mean, unless you're someone who's come in while the getting is already good.
We should say this
gonna get better.
This is not a financial podcast.
This isn't.
We are not offering
no.
legitimate financial advice.
The only financial advice I'm offering is that you should go to buy.lsd.onl and invest in this podcast.
That is
please.
A good investment.
That's a good investment. That's a good. If you like Content Factory,
we would like to promise that this is a good investment.
Yes.
Hey, do you want to do the final word? That's what we're gonna call our final segment. The final word.
The final word. That's cool. Okay.
All
Do
right,
you want me to start?
Yeah, we're gonna do this is a one-word story. This is how we're gonna end each episode with a one-word story, unless everyone tells us they hate it. Yeah, you can go ahead and start.
Okay. The
boy
and
his
mother
were
at
the
zoo.
Then
a
gorilla
This could go anywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, join us next week, please. Content.gives.
Content.gives.
Buy.lsd.onl.
Yeah, don't forget it. Come back next week. We'll finish up that story. We'll find out what the gorilla does.
All right, cut the tapes. Cut the tapes.
Cut it.
Yeah, we got our say.
We got it. All right.